Sahana bhavatu sahanau punattu saha viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together we'll chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, verses 11 to 20. Yes, I know. Chapter 10, verses 11 to 20.
Janki, today is Saturday.
What am I doing? All right, so we are doing Vedanta Treatise. So who will read the next paragraph? Or anybody has a question up to this point? We are all clear about it? Who will read the next paragraph?
I will. God is therefore the primal source of all activity, the supreme self which assumes the three forms of the waker, dreamer, and deep sleeper. The infinite power that operates in your personality is the same that operates everywhere, that enlivens the entire animal and plant world as well. The self-same power that causes the sun to shine, earth to revolve, rivers to flow. That supreme power is known as Atman in the microcosm and Brahman in the macrocosm. Atman and Brahman are one and the same reality that is the omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent God, your divine self. So God, the self-same power, which takes the form of the waker, dreamer, and the deep sleeper, and enlivens the animal and plant world, our personality, makes the sun shine and makes the earth revolve and rivers flow. Named as Atman in the microcosm and Brahman in the macrocosm, God is one and the same, and it's our divine self.
Can you say all that in one line?
God is one and same, and it's our divine self.
That one. Oh, you need to say a little more if you want to contain the whole paragraph. Or choose the one line in this paragraph that summarizes it.
Okay. God is the self power that is named Atman in the microcosm and Brahman in the macrocosm. Okay. God is the one and the same, and it's our divine self.
When you say that it is the same in the microcosm, why do you need to say your divine self?
Yeah.
It's the same, you're repeating the same thing, right?
That's right, yeah.
So
it's just that God is one and the same.
That would not summarize. One and the same doesn't tell us what this paragraph is saying. What is the two words you have to use?
Primal source.
Atman and Brahman.
Oh yeah. What is the point of this paragraph? He's already mentioned. Huh?
God is the primal source of all activity.
Yes, that is true, but he's explained it by saying what? The two important words you have to use in your
Omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient.
Okay, okay, the reason I'm struggling with this is because I don't know what you mean. You say he's one and the same. He's one and the same in what? He is omnipresent in what? I mean, the point of this paragraph is, what's he trying to get at?
God is all.
It enlivens
Enlivens what?
Enlivening the micro and
entire
macrocosm.
animal and plant
Very
kingdom
good,
also.
Reshma. Okay, enlivens, it is the same power in the microcosm and the macrocosm. That's his point right here. What was his point earlier?
That all the functions that are happening in the world are due to this principle.
Earlier,
That you are God.
that you are God. Right? What was he trying to say? That the divine self is the base of the microcosm. That is who you really are. All right. Now, what is he trying to say? That same self within you is the basis of everything, not just you. So you are the base of the microcosm and the macrocosm, because that's your original nature, right? So that's you. You are the base of the microcosm and the macrocosm. That's what he's adding. I hope you're following the line of thought. How did he begin? He said that people are not interested in turning introvert. Why are they not interested in turning introvert? Because they say it's so clear, that you extrovertedly seek something, you get joy out of it. What are you going around telling us you don't get joy out of it? Of course we get joy out of it. To which he responded by saying,
There is no joy or sorrow in the world.
yes, there is no joy or sorrow. And how did he explain this to us?
It is a reflection of this.
It is just like the moon, which is the reflection of sunlight. Moon has no light, but you enjoy the moonlight. You use it to walk around. Similarly, there is no joy in the world. There's no joy in that object you have contacted. Then where is this joy coming from? It's coming from within you. It is not coming from that object. Please get this. Why is it not self-evident that happiness is an emotion, a feeling within you? We go and associate it with an object, and then we call these objects as happy objects and those objects as unhappy objects. My girlfriend, happy object. When she becomes my wife, unhappy object. Okay, so the object according to us is the cause of our joy and sorrow. It is not so. The object gives you no joy and no sorrow. Get this through. And when you get this through, you will not be chasing in the wrong place. Then you say, then you have another objection. You say, what are you saying? How can I be God? How can I be that infinite being who is capable of giving joy to everything and everybody, including this body, mind, intellect? This is your second objection. To which his response was,
You are that principle.
what was his response? How can I be that infinite being? What are you talking? Nonsense you're talking. I'm the infinite being. So his response to that was,
Conversation.
hey, what happened to all of you? I am not supposed to each time go and you start that in class, right? You all read, right? So you all should only summarize what happened last time. I'm making it too easy, summarizing every time, and then nobody knows anything.
Janki ji,
What's the you have an objection? Don't you have that objection? Take it like really. Don't you have that objection? How can I be that? How is that even possible? How can I be God? So his reply is,
You eat, you produce juices, you digest food.
Shilpa, you're saying something, I can't hear you.
Yeah. You eat food, you digest everything, your body does everything.
What happened to you all? Nobody's saying
The
that.
more I associate with myself,
I think Janki ji cannot
The more
hear
joy
any
to
of
me.
us.
How have you bought this idea that you're the self? How can you be that infinite being? Are
Janki,
you
are you able to
infinite?
hear us?
Clearly finite, right?
Janki ji,
શું થયું અહીંયા?
I think she can't hear us.
hello, Janki ji, are you able to hear us?
No, I'm not able to hear. Are you people saying something? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Oh. Now what?
I can hear Janki ji. I can hear what you're saying.
Ah,
I
okay,
can hear.
now I can hear Milind. All right, sorry. Was something to do with here.
You can hear us, Janki ji, now?
Yes, now I
Yeah,
can.
I think a lot of people said or replied to your question, but I think you couldn't hear us. So maybe
Okay, what is the reply?
Reply, how can it be true? If
Hmm.
I am God, how it can be true?
That's the question. What's the reply?
That there are millions of functioning happening within us, which we are making it happen.
Yes, very good. I hope you all answered like that. I was beginning to feel like going and committing suicide. Nobody knows the answer. I'm glad it was a technical error. Okay, so you're right. When you claim finitude, when you claim you are small, when you claim that what can you do? The truth is that you're doing so question is taking place. Within you, that heart is beating. Within you,
Janki ji, is pause now, pause. We can't hear. Pause.
when we look at the screen, we can say, oh, that's Madeline, that's Jyoti, that's Usha. It takes trillions in one thing. So where is the concept of our smallness? Where is the concept of our finitude? Imagine that you're making this all work.
Janki ji, voice is intermittent. It is pause now, pause. No sound.
Can you hear me?
Janki ji, we missed everything you said after the technical error.
Oh, okay. When we talk about our smallness, when we talk about our finitude, where is this finitude? All these things that have happened. You can see Madeline or Jyoti or Usha, trillions and trillions of reactions have taken place before you can make such a statement? What about the digestion? What about that little, there's a little, you eat something and a little squirt of this chemical starts somewhere and a little squirt of that chemical starts somewhere. You think God alone knows how many zillions of thoughts. What finitude are we talking? And as far as we are concerned, look at what a foolish thing we have done. We have undertaken a project like Vedanta University. Pocket में दो दमड़ी नहीं है, चल पड़े university बनाने. Don't have 2 cents in the pocket, have started making a university. What finitude are we talking about? What are we talking about? It is a human being is full of the infinitude. A human being conceives of going to the moon and actually lands up there. What are we talking about us being small, inefficient, incapable? Vedanta roars like a lion and says, please don't think of yourself like that. You are the infinite. So how did he respond to the point that we are finite, we are restricted, we are limited? By showing us how that infinite is within us. And how many infinite things going on within us at any given point. So what are you talking about being small? The only thing that restricts us is our own mind. Nothing else. You say, no, but now I'm old, I can't do this, I can't do that. Remember, Christopher Reeves, he was paralyzed from neck down. You believe that? What a horrible, horrible thing to happen to anyone. And in that bed, he's probably done more work with the movement of only maybe his neck and a couple of fingers. He has done more work than you and I have done. I mean, like, what finitude? The only reason we feel we are incapable is because we feel
identify
incapable.
with the limited.
There's no basis for that. We could literally do anything we set our minds to do. But we don't set our minds to do anything. And therefore we stay small and miserable. Where is our commitment to anything? It is on that commitment that deeds are done. It is not on our smallness. And what? Imagine so much potential within every one of us. Every one of us in this class can set up a Vedanta University. Or bigger, I don't know. Anything. We restrict ourselves by restricting us. Most of you are on the crowdfunding platform. You have seen, right? What you all have all accomplished in 1 week. I think something like 20 lakhs have been raised. Of course, it's a long way to go, but in 1 week to raise so much is an amazing thing. Everyone put together working. What limitation, what smallness, what finitude. Stand up and roar, I am the self. And that same self is the self in all beings. That power which is me is the same power which is you. That is why when an Indian meets another Indian, you know what they do?
Namaskar.
What is it showing? Why do we do this? Why do we do namaste? Now in COVID times we do it for other reasons, but initially it started because our fingers, our hand is made in a very philosophical way. Let us say, look at this hand. What is it? There are 5 fingers, and at the base of it is the palm, right? The base of these 5 fingers is the palm. You see normally everything we're doing with the 5 fingers, right? Now, what is this supposed to represent? It represents the Pancha Koshas. Remember, we studied Pancha Koshas? We've got 5 koshas. And on the base of it all is the self. So I am the Pancha Koshas. The base is the self. You are the Pancha Koshas, and the base is the self. It is the same self in both of us. To that, I bow down. That's self. Every aspect of our culture told us. Every aspect. Nothing was left out. And yet, unfortunately, even today in India, we make a sort of division between the secular and the divine. We say, oh, these are materialistic pursuits and those are spiritual ones. These are religious things, these are non-religious things. This concept doesn't exist here. Oh, money, you shouldn't ask for money, you shouldn't deal with money. Consider something dirty. What are you talking about? That's Ma Lakshmi, the goddess. So you're looking down on money? When she gets mad at you, you see what happens in your life. You worship it because it's a powerful thing. And it is the self. And you worship that same sense of divinity across the board. And that's what they did in India. You saw monkeys, you think of
Hanuman.
Hanuman, isn't it? Everything you think like that. It's a very interesting thing how they managed to make the whole thing sound divine. If you say a Bilva Patra, what do you think of? That particular leaf.
Shiva.
Shiva.
Whether it is a leaf, whether it is an animal, when you see, those radars, the black ones, the big black, I don't know what are they called? What's a radar called in English? I don't know. The big black, I don't know, they're bulls or what, there's something else. Bullocks or something. Like a big black one with big horns. What do you think of?
Yum.
Yamraj. Okay, the god of death, Madeline, comes on that big black fellow. So every aspect of Indian life was somehow divinized. Made everything sound like that. What is the pati known as? Pati is husband. What is the husband known as?
Parameshwar.
Pati Parmeshwar. Every time you're cursing him, remember Parmeshwar. And the wife is Gruha Lakshmi. Every aspect, the child is Balakrishna. Every aspect is divine. There is no aspect that is not divine because it is the same divinity that pervades it all. The microcosm, the individual, and the macrocosm, everything around. That capacity to see the oneness is being human, I guess. The same self. That doesn't mean the Panchakoshas are the same. There is a difference in us, which is in the Panchakoshas, in the body, mind, intellect, in the material equipment. But the self within is the same. Then we will go one step further. Even your material equipments are divine. We'll take it further. He hasn't taken it there. Now, at the moment, what is he saying? He's saying at the base of your personality is the self. Then eventually he'll tell you how even the equipments are divine. Why are the equipments divine?
Because they're given by the divine.
I can't hear you again. Now what happened? Okay, say it, Jyoti.
Because they're given by the divine.
The divine doesn't ever give you anything.
The divine is the
Which
base
one?
of it.
Ashya, yes. They are made of the self. In the dream, think of it like this. In the dream, everything is the waker's mind, right? When you're talking to the person in the dream, you say there is this in the dream and there is the waker's mind. You divide it. You say there are two things. But when you wake up, you understand everything in the dream was the waker's mind. There's no division. Suppose there's a gold bangle. You say there's a bangle and there's the gold. But the bangle is the gold. What is not gold is the nama rupa, it's the name and form. That particular form is not gold. Gold is what it is made up of. So everything is the self. There is nothing other than the divine. The same divine principle, which is me, is the same divine principle that is everything else. If you can tune into this concept, where is the question of feeling inferior or feeling weak or feeling helpless? There's no such thing. You are the self. And when you approach anyone, approach the person as if you are the self. And approach the person as if he is the self. And you've got your whole relationship with the world sorted out. It's that simple. Or that difficult, whichever way you want to put it. So, is this topic clear? Anybody has any questions on this topic alone? Please don't take off into anything else on just so much.
Janki ji, one quick clarification.
Yeah, go ahead, Reshma.
So last time when you said, when we were discussing.
1 second, again your voice is gone. Okay, say something.
Yeah, in the previous paragraph, when we discussed that you are only the self, you are God. And you had mentioned that it is like the light saying that I'm the electricity. So would it be the same as the body, mind, intellect saying I'm the self?
Yes. The manifestation is the combination of the real and the unreal. If it was a desert and you're seeing water there, the water can say, I am the desert. That would be correct, right? But that nama rupa is not, that name and form isn't. So as the light contains the equipment plus electricity, so too Reshma is the equipment plus the spirit. So when you talk of Reshma, it is the combination. You understand that the spirit is the spirit. When we learn further, we will learn that the equipments themselves are made of the spirit. Just as the mirage is itself made of that desert. Like the gold the ornament is the gold. There's no difference. But for now, just to simplify matters, we understand that it is the base because we're not studied that portion as yet. Are you clear about this?
So in this example, would the light be equivalent to Reshma in this example?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
So electricity plus an equipment is equal to the product, whatever the product is, light in this case. So spirit plus matter is Reshma. So Reshma has to go beyond the matter to the spirit. When she reaches the spirit, she will realize that the matter is also spirit because there is nothing else.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, Nitama. Nitama, are you really in class? After so many years, I'm seeing your name. Then Nitama, right? What happened? Nitama, even you don't want to speak to me, or is it Shiv? I don't know who's attending the class. No, suddenly I see names from like 20 years ago. I knew some people, and suddenly I see their
Hari Om,
name.
Janki. Hari Om, Janki, can you hear me?
Are you saying something? I can't hear you. Again, it's gone. What's wrong today? I tell you,
Something.
my technical team has to be. Can you saying something?
Yeah, I'm just Hari Om, Janki.
Oh,
I'm there.
Hari Om, Nitama.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've never forgotten you. You were never out in my life. So I
Thank
was
you.
not visible.
Yes, probably your name came up here today because I can only see a certain
Yeah,
amount. But nice to see you again, Nitama.
thank
Let me
you.
see where all my Delhi people. Delhi people I have special soft
You're
corner from. Okay, so now is everyone clear about all this, or you have anything to say? I can't really hear you all very well today. I don't know what is happening. So let's continue. We go to the next topic. Who will read?
May I?
Please.
Drift in religion. Religion is meant to impart the knowledge of God, knowledge of the Supreme Self within you, the homogeneous being that resides in every living creature. In the world today, there is hardly any spiritual education. Religion has been reduced to mere maxim and mandate. Free thinking has been stifled, strangled, and people have lost their reason, their independent judgment. The natural growth in spirituality has been stunted by forced doctrine and dogma. The well-meaning custodians of religion have turned the masses into spiritual pygmies. So religion is supposed to help us understand what this homogeneous principle in everyone is. But unfortunately, in today's time, it has been become more of ritualistic practices. And because people believe that that is what religion is, we have lost that independent ability to question what the reality is.
Yeah, very good. The natural growth of spirituality is stunted by forced doctrine and dogma. What is spirituality to do with the body? At the end of the day, it is a very, very simple thing. You understand your original nature. That's its job. And whatever helps you do that is religion. Whatever doesn't help you do that is not religion. And if you do that, you are religious. And if you don't do that, you are irreligious. Now, how does it matter whether you did it by going to a temple, church, or mosque, or you did it just simply by going to office and doing your work, or you did it in any other means or methods that were available to you? There are stories in the scriptures about a lady who does nothing but serve her husband and her in-laws, and the Lord comes to her door. And the story goes that she throws him a brick and says, "Wait, I'm finishing my duty." And then he stands there and waits like this. And the story goes that he is that particular idol. He's waiting for her. Can you imagine that? We are chasing the Lord is waiting for her. What is it trying to say? What is the point of this story? On the other hand, they say, don't get involved in your duties. Both ways. On one hand, you say, do your duty, and the Lord will come and wait at your door. The other hand, they say, if you get involved in your duties, you'll never reach the Lord. Kamal hai. both ways, maybe or wo bhi. How can you have it both ways? Decide, am I to do my duties or am I not to do my duties? That's where your own thinking comes in. What is your vision? Why are you doing it? What is the purpose? What did you do whatever you did for? That thing is the most important thing in your life. Why did you do what you did? Okay, we're all raising funds. But why? Is there a vision in it? Or is it that, oh, I want to show how much I have managed to raise? What are you doing it for? Or why are you not doing it? Both ways. Why? What is the purpose? What is the point of it? If you did your duties as an end in itself, nothing to it. If you did your duties for the purpose of self-purification, of self-realization, God will come and stand at your door. You don't chase him, he will chase you. Kabira man nirmal bhayo jaise ganga neer, piche piche hari fire, kahata kabir kabir. Oh Kabira, make your mind nirmal, make it devoid of any mal, devoid of any stain, of any dirt. Be a pure individual. Manoj, your video is on. Kabira man nirmal bhayo. Oh Kabira, make the mind pure, clean, devoid of any dirt. Jaise Ganga neer, like the waters of the Ganges. Piche piche hari fire. Hari will come chasing you. Kahata Kabira Kabir. Oh Kabira, wait for me. You will say. So why did we do what we did? Or why did we choose not to do what we didn't do? The reason we do something in life usually is
Likes and dislikes.
we do it in the pursuit of personal pleasure. And we avoid it in the pursuit of, or in the avoidance of personal displeasure. We do it because we want to be happy, and we run away from it because we want to avoid any form of unhappiness. Living life like this is a recipe for disaster. You will ever be agitated and stressed. Then how should we live our life? With a vision, with a purpose, with something greater, bigger, nobler. And if you ask the question, what should I do? Do anything, it doesn't matter. What matters is
The vision
Why are you doing
behind
for?
Tension.
what are you doing it for? What are you doing it for? Now we want to set up a university. For what? Oh, we will be so famous and so great and I don't know, whatever word. Because if you are motivated with that vision, that we can educate people in a way that their lives will get so much better, and not only their lives, but everybody they contact. Not every human being, every being will benefit from them. If you're motivated with that vision, and that vision also because it's the greatest service you can do for self-realization, for achieving self-realization, then good for you. The whole long journey will not stress you out at all. If you're motivated by anything lower, As low as it gets. As the vision gets lower, what goes higher?
Selfish.
Goal.
Agitation.
Agitations.
Agitation, the stress goes up. As the vision comes down, the stress goes up. So if you're ever stressed, go back to your vision. It will keep you. It will keep you protected. So religion is meant to make us the self. And until it makes us the self, it has to make us human beings. Every animal will go towards anything that provides pleasure and go away from anything that provides displeasure. And that's the most natural thing to do. But a human being does not do that because, or ought not to do that, or is capable of not doing that because,
He has a vision.
yeah, before he has a vision, even the most basic thing.
Intellect.
Intellect.
He has an intellect. An intellect that tells him that though this is very pleasurable, if I partake of this, in a little while, this pleasure will start. He has the capacity to predict, to consider, to judge the consequence of his action. A child doesn't have that, right? A child feels like running across the street, he'll run across the street. Why does the child run across the street? Why are we terrified taking children out on the road? Because the child does not have the discrimination to think what will happen if I just run across the street. An adult is supposed to have the discrimination to look right, look left, look right, and then cross the street. Why does he do this? Because he's capable of predicting what will happen if he doesn't. Not because he enjoys doing like exercise. Not for that reason. Because he understands consequences. Now, what is the role of religion? To make us understand consequences at a subtler level, at a higher level. And even that will convert in some kind of superstition. Do you even understand what is the consequence of living life without a goal, without a mission, without a vision? Well, the consequence is clear. Whatever is happening is the consequence. Yes, there seems to be somebody banging up here. You can't hear clearly, is it?
Too much disturbance.
Dilipji, I think you have to switch your video off because we can see stuff going on.
We can hear you. And also the banging sometimes.
Yeah, there is all this knocking. You can hear the knocking?
Very well.
Yeah, we can hear.
Yeah. What can we do? So because we have a vision, because we have an intellect, because we have a capacity to discriminate, we can assess consequences of what we do. Because religion does not train us, our understanding of consequences is extremely shallow. So instead of creating human beings, we have created sub animal. Because now what have we done? We've told people, you know, the right thing to do is turn right, turn left, turn right, and then cross the street. And we didn't tell them why. So everyone does this little neck exercise and crosses the street and they're dying. Because they're not getting it. So we become worse than animals because we're doing all sorts of rituals not knowing why on earth we are doing these rituals and reaching the same consequence as the people who are not doing the rituals. But we think, oh, we are doing the rituals, so we must be somehow better, so we will be protected. And then we come up with these all wonderful questions. I did this, I did this, I did this. Then how did I meet with an accident? It's exactly like saying, I worship the God so much, but I met with all these problems in life. But when you worshipped him, did you begin to understand what you were trying to do? It's so silly. Even with your eyes closed, you can do this, right? And you think you've done your duty. What duty? You haven't opened your eyes. And so you will meet with the accident. Crazy stuff, no? That's why they say, wake up, get up, open your eyes, bring in the light. Then we start worshipping the light. Oh, light is God. Arey Baba, mera sir nahi khao. There is no misunderstanding that we are not capable of getting. What has happened is we've all become spiritual beings because we fall in love with the ritual, with the faith, with the belief, with the non-essential. And we are where we are as humanity, all of us, not just one or two of us, but all of us as humanity. We are in a pretty pathetic condition. Pretty pathetic. The only solution to this is education, the right spiritual education. There is no other way to do it. The great masters of the past have taught us this, have tried their best to tell us. But with the passage of time, the meaning goes away and the ritual remains. You can imagine maybe 100 years later, if this becomes a movement and becomes very popular and all of Swamiji's work becomes very well known, everybody will know that the one instruction he has given everybody, he's hardly given any instruction, but the one instruction which he has given is what?
Use your
Wake up in the
intellect.
morning.
Again, you
Morning
picking up
study.
what?
Morning study.
Morning study. So 100 years later, everybody will be getting up in the morning doing God alone knows what. Because they know that the master had said, you must get up in the morning and study. So God alone knows what they'll be doing. But they can remember a ritual. But they will not understand the point of that ritual. Even now I see people, they tell me, Swamiji says you must get up at 4 o'clock. I get up every day at 4 o'clock. And I go for a walk. What? Sounds so typical of how religious pursuits are done. You miss the whole point. But you're doing the ritual. So the end result is that we have become
Spiritual
Spiritual
piggy.
pygmies.
spiritual pygmies. We have become non-human. Religion, which was meant to develop our thinking capacities, has told us now that you shouldn't think. Hey Bhagwan, ab kya bole isko? What are you supposed to say to this? What is the point of religion if it is not to develop, open out the cobwebs in our mind? What's the point of it? All right, shall we continue? Who will read the next para?
I'll read Jagdish.
You can read.
There is a heartless, unnatural practice in plant culture known as bonsai. Bonsai are miniaturized trees. 300-year-old cedars and pines have been kept dwarfed as onion plants. This is done by cutting their inner rootlets. When the roots are not allowed to strike deep into the soil, the trees cannot shoot high into the air. Likewise, when you do not penetrate deep into the core of your personality, you remain spiritually dwarfed. This is the present trend in religion. So continuing further, he explains the present trend in religion today. that people are not diving deep into their personality and discovering the core. And that is why they are spiritually incomplete or dwarfed. He's done so with the example of the bonsai plant.
Very good. We have lost the capacity to go into our personality. And how do we go deep into the core of our personality?
Reflection.
Learning to think for yourself, not being carried away by what other people say. It is not possible to live another's life. Each one has to live their own life in their way, in their manner. You can't say, oh, that man is doing that, so very good for him, let him do. That woman is doing that, very good for him, let her do. Have you figured out how you want to live your life? Have you figured it out for yourself? Not my mommy told me that, and my daddy told me that, and my guru told me that. Come on, grow up. What according to you individually, is the right thing to do? That. And be sensible. Don't choose the right thing to do without any knowledge in that field. Say, I think the right thing to do is to knock down this wall. I don't like this wall, and I will knock it down. What do we do with these people? Therefore, the process of spiritual life is, first step,
Develop the intellect.
no, the process of doing that. First step,
Shravana.
Shravana. Second step,
Manana.
Manana. First listen, then think. No, I'm thinking. What are you thinking? You don't have the basic information. So first get your information right, then think about it. There are some people who don't think at all, they're following. There are some people who think, but they have not collected relevant information. Then what are you going to do with your thinking? You have a lovely saw, but you have no wood. So what are you going to cut? So going deep into your personality means learning how to think for yourself. Learning to think for yourself can only come when you have the relevant knowledge. Otherwise, you'll think and think and think and think and think and think and spend a whole life thinking, and all you have found out is desires cause agitation. But you could have read that on day one, thought about it a little and figured it out, instead of spending your whole life finding out that much. That is the advantage of knowledge. We get the advantage of other people's thinking. So please take the advantage. But don't sell your personality. Selling your personality means accepting what somebody says. Taking advantage means listening. Go step by step. Okay, first let's hear what is the point being made. That's why you all summarize. So at least hear the point being made. Because 9 out of 10 times, now of course in the class, it is reduced, I don't know what, 80-90%. But initially, everybody would say, they read a paragraph and say whatever they want. I mean, like sometimes no correlation between what the paragraph said and what we are saying in summary. You can disagree, that's fine. But when you're summarizing, you have to say what the other person said. That's why the Indian educational system, way back in the distant past, was so good that it created the capacity for debate. Today also there's debate, but there's no capacity for debate. So what on earth are you debating? They don't know how to debate. You know, the rules of debate in ancient India were such that if you decide to debate somebody, you could debate anyone. You could challenge, you can challenge in wrestling or something. You could challenge anyone to a debate. But before you challenge anyone to a debate, you have to learn his subject. Then you debate. You must know his subject almost as well as he does. Then you debate. Otherwise, you're battling straw men, right? You're battling a point the other person never made. Or you're doing, and they had names for all these things, very interesting. It was one of the names of Vitanda, where you're just mocking the other person, trying to show him down. You're not arguing the point. And whoever was the judge would prevent you from doing it. Please talk about the point, not about the person. That's very, very interesting. How beautifully the whole thing was done. Now, when will we ever bring things back to this condition? God alone knows, but we'll work at it. The thing is that we must understand the relative positioning of everything. What is the use of listening? Where does manana fit in? Where does nididhyasana or meditation fit in? And once you are clear about all these things, then of course each one takes his own decision. You are doing this so that you become capable of decision. You're not doing it so that we get conditioned and you're all following like sheep and goats somewhere. For what are we following anybody? Don't follow anyone. There's never this concept of following people. Shall I believe in my teacher? What are you talking? No belief, there's no following. There's either you understand or you don't understand. Quite simple. When, how do you nurture child to show, understand right way of thinking, not condition and be independent human being rather than being influenced? Mukesh, what should I say to that? The child will only learn what he sees. When he is surrounded by parents and elders and teachers who live their life naturally like that, he will do it too. But if he's surrounded by parents who tell him that, oh, don't ask these stupid questions. If a child ever hears this thing, don't ask the stupid question. You are training the child to stop thinking. If a child asks a question and you immediately sit down and answer the question, the child will start paying more attention to his own questions. And if you are, because children can ask a question like literally any time. So you can tell them, oh, that's a great question. I will come back this evening and we will talk about it. That's another way to handle it, because suddenly I'm in the middle of making biryani or something and then he comes up with some question. You may not be able to handle it, or you're leaving to work, whatever it is in the world you're doing. But giving his questions importance. That's important. And you give his questions importance only when you have a contemplative view towards it. Your own contemplative view towards it will create an environment where thinking is nurtured. So how do we change anyone in this world? The bottom thing is you begin by changing ourselves. Because it's always easy to tell other people that you should do this and do that. Very strictly, almost as sadhana, we should say, I'm not concerned with what anybody else does. I am concerned with what I am. No child, no spouse, no parent, no nothing. I am concerned with what I am. Am I taking right action? Point after point after point. One of the things is, even if we set up a university, the first question for everybody who's working on the university is, are you studying yourself? Because if you're not studying, then why are you going about recommending? Are you studying yourself? We are not professional people who set up universities, right? What are we? We are Vedantas. We have benefited from Vedanta, and we would like other people to know this because it will benefit them. But what benefit are we talking to others when we ourselves are not benefiting? Why don't we study? So if you want to participate in any of the karma activities, the first question is, are you studying? Because Put your money where your mouth is. Don't go around telling other people how good the study is. Do it yourself. And let other people ask, what did you do that you know this? Let them ask. Okay, so that's it for today.
Janki, announcement for participating the crowdfunding, if you can do that.
Oh yeah. Anybody would like to participate in trying to get this university set up, please. What are they supposed to do, Surendra?
They're supposed to register with the Fuller-D and join the
Yeah, but what
crowdfunding
are they to
platform.
do? Will you put the link on the
Yeah, I'll do that.
classroom? Yeah, okay. So
I'll do
if you would like, if you are motivated by this vision that we could influence in education, we could do our bit to put something in place, then there is a registration link that Surendra has put. Surendra has done remarkable work. I think everybody should give him a standing ovation. He has started this whole thing literally. He started this whole crowdfunding thing and he is seeing it through. He didn't just start it and say, okay, now, but he's seeing it through. Each time you'll see that he is doing it. And we all get together and do it, then we will reach there faster. So I put the link on the class group. I think he's put it here also. I'll put it probably on the class group. Please do register and then take it forward. I found many people registered but never did anything after registration. So I didn't quite get that. So register and take it forward. All right.
Surinder ji, this is Sanjay. Just a quick clarification for those of